Hi, I'm John from Just Whiskey. If you like today's show, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And speaking of subscribers, thank you very much for all the new subscribers coming on board my whiskey journey. And remember, folks, it's just whiskey. But today, it's just rye bourbon, kind of, sort of. Today, we are going to be talking about and reviewing the much heralded Barrell Seagrass blended rye bourbon-ish, rum-ish. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of praise given to this on most of the bourbon channels. I am not a bourbon expert by any means, so this is coming from a Scotch perspective, but I have had obviously some experience with some bourbons and some rums, and this came out in 2021, and it won the San Francisco World Spirit Competition Double Gold, for whatever that's worth. I've watched many reviews about this, and what's interesting is very few of them talk about the batches. Most of them almost all the reviews I've seen refer to the ABV as 59.2, which is 118.4 proof. I've seen, and each one of this bottle is numbered, and this batch that I have here says cask strength, 19,015 bottles. And this one is 119.12 proof, which is 59.56 abv. So there are a few, maybe several different batches of this. So I don't have any of the previous batches, so I can't compare it to those. I can only talk about my experience with this particular bottle. But most of the reviews that I've seen reference the 118.4 proof, which is 59.2 ABV. And I've seen bottle counts labels 1,230 bottles. Maybe that's when they first came out with it. One of my subscribers said that they have a bottle that's 118.4 proof, and their bottle count is 5212. And I've also seen another version that was like in the 7,000s of a bottle count, like 7,500 or 7,700. So there's, tens of thousands of bottles of this, and my understanding it's widely available throughout the United States. Barrell is a blender, and they have several different offerings, but the one we're going to be talking about is the Barrell Seagrass, and they describe it as a rye whiskey finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and Apricot Brandy barrels. And on the back, it's distilled in Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, and Canada, which I'm assuming, the Canada is the rye, and an American rye as well. Seagrass is a blend of American and Canadian rye whiskeys, meticulously sourced and finished in casks from 3 distinct areas of the world. It highlights the grassy oceanside notes we love in rye and the opulence and spice of finishing barrels. It's bottled at cask strength so you can appreciate its true flavor. And Barrell Craft Spirits is located in Louisville, Kentucky, and they are blenders. What else can I tell you about this? So I can see where they can get unlimited amounts of rye casks and Martinique rum casks and probably Madeira casks, but apricot brandy barrels, and that's the last thing that they mention. So I'm just assuming, and it's just an assumption, that when you read ingredients on a label of any food product or whatever, usually what they list first has the highest volume of that. So, this is rye whiskey finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels. So my question is, where are they getting all these apricot brandy barrels from to finish all these batches in? Maybe they have a infinite supply. I don't know, and I have no idea if they're gonna, continue on with this, but almost all the reviews and everything that I've heard about and read about this, everyone gives it super high praise. It is a unique, it's a very unique offering, and I'm going to give you my take on it. All right. So again, this bottle is 59.56 abv, which is 119.12 proof. And this batch is 19,015 bottles that I have right here. It retails in my area between $80 and $90 US. There is no age statement on this. Right out of the gate, when you nose this, rum, vanilla notes, fruit notes. To me, if you didn't tell me this was a rye whiskey on the nose, you could easily convince me that this was a Four Square rum that had a specialty finish in it. Very candied fruit, rum, vanilla on the nose, on the palate. Sweet, syrupy, thick. Smooth, super smooth. There's no way that I would think that this is almost 60% ABV. I have not added any water to this. I'm sure you could play around with water on this. For my palate, it does not need water. This is a beautiful, delightful rye whiskey. And what the finish you have is a strong rye lingering spice. And what is a rye spice finish? For my palate, I would describe it as a sweet peppery sensation, a sweet black pepper sensation. That's what rye is. It has that black pepper bite, but with a sweetness to it, which is very nice. I could easily sum this up as a peach. Now, it's finished in apricot, but most people don't have access to fresh apricots. We have access to dried apricots. But I would describe this as a peach flavored rum finished or matured in ex-bourbon casks. That's how I would describe this. To me, it's a peach, fruity rum, like a Foursquare, that's either matured and or finished in ex-rye casks. So it's like a rye whiskey fused, and a fusion with a rum, with a peach, an apricot finish added to that. So the label really does say it all. But for my palate, in my experience, this is more of a rum. To me, it feels like it's a rum finished in ex-rye bourbon, rye whiskey barrels. I really, really enjoy this. I'll tell you, in the Scotch world and in the bourbon world and in the spirits world, right? We spend our whole life or our journey searching for that holy grail. And I'll tell you, if somebody told me that this is all I could drink for the rest of my life, I would not be disappointed. So yeah, so how would I score this? In my opinion, a 90 to 92 all day long. I cannot find anything wrong with it. It is as I described, in my opinion. It's a sweet, syrupy, fruity, peach, rye whiskey that has a strong rum element to it. If that sounds appealing to you, then this is for you. I highly recommend it. I'm not disappointed at all. And I actually ordered a backup bottle, and I have no idea what batch or version of this it will be. So I'd be curious for any and all input as to other people's batches or versions or ABV or proofs that they have of this. And I think that's it. If you like today's show, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And consider becoming a Patreon with the link in the description below. And hats off to you all, and take care.